Yeah, just welcome everybody. I'm just doing a quick afternoon live chat here. As you guys know, once in a while I get I get time here. The end of the day, just kind of in the office doing a little bit of tidying up. Get ready to close down. I got about 45 minutes I could share with you guys. So let's see who wants to show up to this live stream. I've got to turn the camera a little bit. There we go. And normally I get these to mirror around. I don't know how that didn't do it this time. Let's see who shows up. I'm gonna wait and see. I'll talk to myself for a little bit. Sing a song maybe. La, 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 la. Yeah, no, let's get straight to the point. Wow, it's kind of dusty in here today. We were sweeping the floor. Yeah, so I've been like to check in here with you guys once in a while and make sure you know I'm still here. Even though it's kind of controversial from time to time. Oh, what am I doing on YouTube? You know, it's when life gets tough, sometimes you just really question yourself. So, but anyway, been doing a lot of work at the Viking camp. I've been really working on that roof. It's been kicking my ass. It's just too much work. The weather has been iffy, and I think that if it holds up today, which it looks like it's not going to, it most likely will rain. So probably won't be doing any work up there today. But I am getting the roof. I am getting the roof up on the camp. So that's a good thing. Once that roof is on, the tar, I can build reinforcements, which will only take me about a day. And I can put the tar up on the roof, and then I'll have a ceiling over my head. That's the first goal. After I do that, I will want to reinstall all of my equipment before I put the walls in to ease in installation and to make sure, I'm not quite sure yet, with the cold forge, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. And the fireplace. So I'm thinking about some of those things. But first I got to get the roof on and ready to go, and then I can make changes as I go along. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody wants to pop in here on a Tuesday afternoon. Bad timing, I guess. So we get the blacksmith shop up. That would be one great improvement. Hello, Curtis. Welcome. I think it's just you right now. It's like everybody else is still asleep at 6 hours. It's 12 in the afternoon. Oh, Moncoco64, welcome. Now we're starting to roll in. I thought I was going to be the only person on this live stream. I'm talking to myself for the next 45 minutes. I don't like to do that. Yeah, glad of you guys to show up. I was just briefly noting that the blacksmith shop has been coming together. Now, if you saw my latest video, you saw that I was putting boards up on the roof. I'm about 3/4 done with that work. I have to film some of that, but so it's tough to film and work, and that's a job I really have to concentrate on because I'm climbing ladders and I'm working against the wind, and those boards are heavy, believe it or not. Yeah. So then I get those boards up there. I'm waiting in the mail now for my tar, my pond liner that I ordered to go on the roof. And that will make a one-piece sealed up ceiling a very nice thing. I don't have that at the hut. The hut leaks like, you know, but I'll tackle that problem once the summertime hits. It doesn't have to be 100% waterproof, but it does have to be that when I'm sitting in there, it doesn't drip on my head, you know, when I'm trying to do live stream with you guys here. So yeah, that's a lot of work. It's just exhausting me. I mean, it's like looking at this frame with no roof on it, and it's not getting, the more boards I put up on the roof, it's like it's like it's going backwards for some reason, but we'll see. Oh, it's raining again. No work on the shop today, I don't think. But I did manage to empty the trailer, so I can go now and get the second load of boards, which is going to definitely blow the budget. I had 70 square meters on my trailer, and they charged me, this is now boards, to board up the roof. They charged me 420 euros. That's about $600 just for some boards. That's crazy. Oh, it's raining. Yes. I think it's raining, and it's The fact that I did all this garden work, the rain is actually a good thing. I put out all of my pails to catch the water. And that being said, I'd like to say something about the roof again. You guys hear that weird squeaky noise? I didn't turn the heat off because it was kind of cold in here this morning, and I just forgot to flip a switch before I turned on the computer. Hope you guys can still hear me. So the reason the roof now, I was going to plan on placing a fireplace in the center. That's become quite a dilemma because I don't want to put a hole in my nice roof, and secondly, I wanted to green the roof as well. But a big problem up there I have is the lack of water. It's a problem getting water up there to water all the plants. So having a 50 square meter roof, that's like 50 square meters of rain that I can catch when it rains. And it rains a lot here. I have to get an IBC container and one of those IBC containers, I guess you call them, IBC tank. And hide it behind the cabin. I've already got a spot I need to dig out with the Bobcat. Definitely use that and run a hose through the whole entire camp, which would be really cool. Have like an irrigation system. Would really rock. So, yeah, I'm just thinking about that. That's probably a really cool idea. And eventually, maybe sometime in the future, it's parallel up to the well. So if I run out of water, I can just tap that and just have the water come down the hill and fill up my tanks. But that's for the future. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. Really looking forward to some of my plants to actually wake up from winter mode. I bought 17, 18, 19, I'm not sure. I bought some mulberry trees. And I'm really excited because I've never really got to deal with them too much. And I really became fascinated by them. I had a spark of interest, and I really like to have some. And here in Germany, they're really hard to get. My squeaky chair. And so I found this guy on the eBay. My nose itches today. So I found this guy on the eBay classifieds that had a whole bunch of trees for sale. And I went there and bought like all of his mulberry trees. Yeah, it's raining so hard right now that the roof of the building, I can hear it. Yep. Yeah, I'm real happy about the green. We were able to walk through the forest and everything's turning green. All of my cuttings that I've made from last year are coming to life. Little trees being born. That's really cool. There's also every year I harvest about 400 or 500 little oak trees. They're about this tall right now. I'm going to let them grow for another 2 weeks, and then I'm going to start to take them out of the ground and put them in this big bale and school them together into a pot, into a container, so that I can keep them until fall to have them grow another, probably double their length. Oak trees grow very slowly. That's what's one of the reasons I don't like to, plant oak trees to watch them grow. So what I do usually is to raise some money, for the dog food or for whatever. The bees cost me an enormous amount of money. If I would have listed to you what I've invested in my beekeeping hobby, it's what it is. It hasn't paid off. You guys would look at me like, doesn't honey pay for it? Yeah, but it's the third year now, and I haven't sold a jar of honey. So I'm not doing it for the profits. It's more of a life experience, I guess you could say. I've always been interested in that, but growing up, I've always had this fable against insects that sting you. The same with plants with thorns. I tend not to buy those or cultivate those because I don't like the pokey things. So then I don't know how. I know bees are important in nature, and I just really got the interest to it at the medieval market that I might be going to this weekend. I'll probably be doing a live stream from the back of my van. Who knows? Maybe or maybe not. We'll see. I can't do really live at the event because in Germany, if there's people on the camera, we'll have to see how we'll do that. Maybe figure something out. Now, going to that event, at the fair there, the guy who sells the meat. He brings his bees with him to the market, which is so cool. People freaking out all over the place. There's bees flying. And I thought that was the coolest thing, and that really kind of lit the fire, like threw the spark in my, it's like, wow, look at that. And then I went and talked with him, and that's the guy who really inspired me to start. And so like 3 years ago, roughly, I spent some time at his shop isn't very far. It's about an hour drive. And that's not very far if you throw some music and you only go there once in a while. I buy like boxes of mead. And although I don't drink mead myself, it's just usually for when we have parties at the your guests, and to have at home and to give away as presents on occasions. So I usually go buy a bunch. And at that occasion, I drove to his house. I called him up. I said, "Hey, you know what? I want to keep bees. I'd like to come by. I'd like to talk to you about that." And he's like, "Go ahead, come on over." So I drove over there. I bought some mead, and he gave me a bunch of candle wax because I need some from my forge. I didn't have any beeswax at the time. And he's like, "Okay, you would like to keep bees. All right. Do you know what that's? Do you know anything about that? I mean, have you taken the course?" And this was like right before the corona. Everybody was like freaking out. So I said, "No, everything's been canceled." He's like, "All right, let's go." So we jumped in his truck, and he took me out to his bee station, I guess. And he showed me, he's like, "I'm going to give you a 20-minute crash course in beekeeping, just so you can get an insight on what it means, and what to look for, and what's important, and what you need to understand before you take the step to decide yes or no. That you need to understand. So there's some real important things." So we put on a suit, and he opened up his bees, and he showed me everything, and it was just so fascinating. And I was like, yes, I want to do this. And that was a really cool experience because I actually got to close up have someone just kind of like let me look into the world of beekeeping and give me a real quick, like the details down to the point, short notice. This is what you're getting into. And, you need to make some decisions on what you want, what kind of format you want. You need to make some decisions on what do you want to do with your bees. You want to keep bees just for a hobby, just take care of the 2 colonies you got. You can't, what my goal is to keep the bees and just let them have their honey and just leave them there. That's not going to work. Honeybees are a domesticated animal, much like the cow and the chicken and the pig. They're domesticated farm animals to produce a product. They're bred to do one thing, basically, by humans. They've been taken out of their natural habitat and bred to do one thing. It's to make honey. And so he said, you can't just take them and set them in your garden and just, okay, I have bees there. They're happy. And no, there's so many factors that you need to be aware of and pay attention to. And you need to constantly be on the ball about, these things. And I was like, wow, that kind of blew my mind. That kind of really, that was good because I learned that I need to really do some more research and get some more insight before I just go out and buy my first bee colony. So I did that. I took a bunch of online informative courses because you couldn't go anywhere. I made a contact at the local beekeeping club, one of the experienced beekeepers, one of the old timers there. And he basically helped me set up my stuff and gave me some good advice and just kind of let me go and watched over my shoulder and said, okay, cool. Looks pretty good what you're doing. And then every couple of weeks he'd come by and we'd talk about the bees, and he'd look at my bees, and he was always very happy to see that I take very large effort to take care of my animals, as you guys know, with the dogs and and with the bees too. I made sure I had super cool, little platforms, and you always try to do the best thing you can for your little critters. And so now it's the 3rd year. Last year was a terrible year because of all the rain. It just destroyed all of the resources for the bees and all of the life. Because of all the rain, the bees couldn't. The new queens couldn't fly out on mating flight. They either flew out, never came back, or didn't come back properly. Didn't come back completely. So the mating process didn't work. She didn't find any male bees or whatever. So, and then I had all this trouble. And then because of all the rain, there was no food for the bees. So I had to feed my bees with sugar all year. That was expensive. I was buying pallets of sugar to make sugar water. Yeah, but that's, it was a very sad experience. I lost out of 15 colonies. I ended up with two that I don't know. I opened them up and they seem to survive now. Finally, two. That was very depressing. And so I said to myself, if this year is going to start out like last year, I'm not going to do bees this year. I got all excited. I set up my bee workshop. I got a little special area planned out for them. I relocated them on the other side where it's actually tactically and efficient. I drive in; they're right there at working height where I had them before. They were up on a lifted surface. They got a lot more sun up there, which is good, but I couldn't. Everything I had to do, I had to carry all of the heavy boxes up and then back down. Oh, I forgot this. It's down there on the trailer. You have to walk through the flowers and the grass so it was constantly a thing. So I replanned it. So I want to put it over there next year where I can drive in, get out, and I'm at eye level with all the work. I don't have to, carry all these heavy things around because, that's not so good. And so I got the opportunity. Then after placing the bees on that side, I also had the opportunity recently because I was always worried about all of the materials cluttering. They were cluttering up my basement. I have this room in my basement. It was just stacked with stuff from the bees, and it wasn't even organized. It just cluttered in there. And every time I do work on the bees, which would be every weekend, Saturday or Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday, because there's a couple of days it takes. We had to plan 4.5 hours or 5 hours on some days on our off day to go service the bees. Open them up, make sure they're still there, make sure they don't want to swarm. If you find a colony that wants to swarm, you can either reduce the swarm urge by putting on another honey super or destroying the queen cells or making bee splits out of those frames that have, you take out of the bee colony something, you create a vacuum for them to feel that, okay, now there's all this empty space around. We need to fix that. If they feel cluttered and if they feel like, okay, we need to go out and leave, then that's what they're going to do. And you need to constantly pay attention to that, or else your hard invested money, your bee colony, is out someone's fruit tree in your neighbor's backyard and basically gone unless you're lucky enough to be able to get down there and reach it, by hand to recapture those bees and recolonize them into a new box. Once they've swarmed, that urge has been depleted, so that usually it takes a while for them to build that natural urge back up. That's their natural way of reproducing in nature. Is the queen bee will lay her regular eggs in the cells, and the bee workers, they have the bee mind, the bean, they call it, the hive mind. Collectively, they just communicate and say, okay, we're getting cluttered, or it's that time of the year we need to go and reproduce and find a new home. So the bee workers will take those regular worker bee cells and feed those cells and feed those freshly hatched maggots with gelée royale. It's a special nutritious jelly that the bees produce, especially only for queens, and that's they genetically modify basically through feeding those maggots with that jelly. They genetically modify the maggot to turn into a queen, to develop into a queen bee. And so they get to that point then where the queen bee grows to a certain development stage, and then they cap that cell off. And in that time, the colony is all nervous and they're getting ready and they're getting ready to move. And if you as a beekeeper, you miss one of those cells in your inspection, or you don't pay attention and you just don't go and you check your bees during swarm season, which is cranking up here in the next couple of weeks, then most likely your bee colony, you come home from work and they will be gone. They will be left with a couple of handfuls of bees, just enough to populate those frames, and 3/4 of your bees will be out and away. And if you're lucky, they usually swarm, close by first, and then they all take off. Now, I know larger colonies, especially if you have them in a like a log hive, like a beehive, they'll actually, several swarms will actually swarm out of one. So you have like 5 queens, and the queens will all hatch at different times. And the main colony will already have left, but some of the bees will always stay behind. That's my heater. And each time a queen hatches, it takes off with some more of the bees. And so it's like, wow, there goes all your bees. And now you have all these swarms. Yeah, I got someone at the door. Yeah, they can wait. Yeah, so let's see what we got here. Bees are important. Hello, Aylin. How are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, or good day, wherever you are in the world. Oh, you've seen it, actually? That's pretty cool. I really like that. It's, watching people on YouTube catch these swarms. It's amazing. I've never actually got to do that myself, but it's quite an amazing to see. Maybe this year. And what's cool in Germany is if you, as a beekeeper, drive down the road and you happen to look up in a bush or a tree and you see a swarm of bees, you're legally allowed to catch it and take it home to preserve the existence of that bee population. It's important that you contain it, take it home, and service it to make sure that bee colony survives, because otherwise the standard honeybee that the beekeepers keep are not suited to survive in the natural habitat of the forest anymore. They've been bred back, and they're not resistant to the hazards and extreme weather. Yeah, I gotta go. I got someone at the door, so I'll catch you guys later. It's nice chatting with you guys. Maybe I'll start another stream here. Just a minute. Okay. All right. All right, guys. I gotta go. I'll see you guys later. I got someone at the door here. I didn't think anybody was going to show up anymore today, so I'll catch all you guys later. Stay safe. See you soon.